is.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 620 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back, everybody. I'm glad to see you back, Derpy. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great.
And you had your
Um,
coffee.
I've had my coffee, so I'm ready to go.
Uh, Mike, how are you today, man?
I'm doing great. When Derpy said he had breaking news before the show, I thought it'd been what happened up in New York. No, so let us know he had his coffee.
Yeah, I certainly didn't know that it was didn't think it was the coffee, but nonetheless, there you go, everybody. What's going on in New York?
The Jets, more specifically, Aaron Rodgers had fired their head coach Robert Saleh after starting two and three.
Like
Oh,
that'll make a difference.
Yeah, right. He's going to get his boy Jeff Hackett as the head coach. He's their offensive coordinator. So it's going to be interesting to see what's happening and going on up there.
ay, ay, ay. I thought the other guys, I mean, he was doing well enough. I mean, from what the Jets used to be to what
Yeah.
they're doing now, I mean, they're actually considered a competitor.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I love it. I love it. Anything that makes the Jets look bad, I'm all
Why
for.
why you don't like the Jets, man?
I don't. Ever since I don't like Aaron Rodgers, and then they got him. Now I don't like him. Now I
Yeah.
don't like the team. Yeah, I know we used to like the Jets here on the show. Now I
Yeah.
don't. Now I don't. I now want to watch them fail.
Um, now we got a lot of football to talk about today, guys. We got the
Oh no,
Steelers.
football.
We're gonna talk a little college later on. Go and see what all the local teams got going into the weekend. Um, maybe first you could answer me this. It's not even a
Okay.
question, but all these guys that the Steelers have been getting from Georgia over the past few years, George
Right.
Pickens and Broderick Jones, and even I don't know, even Mount Washington. But all these guys that we're getting from Georgia, they all seem to be a little bit of a head case. I mean, do we need to contact Georgia University and find out how to handle these guys?
Well, Georgia University doesn't even know how to handle these guys. I'm just happy Pickens, Mount Washington, and Broderick Jones aren't the guys that like to get in cars and travel 900 miles an hour and kill people. So they got that going for them, which is a huge
Well,
plus.
that really has nothing to do with their performance on the field. The
Yeah, I
performance on
know.
the field is where I have the issue.
Yeah, I know. Like George Pickens' attitude is the reason why he fell to the second round. His attitude and his injury he had. Like Roger Jones. Mm, mm. Don't get me started on him because I was watching the All 22 again. My man looks lost and disinterested out there. Whereas last year at right tackle, he was, you know, a man on a mission to prove that he belonged in the NFL. This year, he doesn't. Mount Washington's the only one from Georgia who's just been steady Eddie. I
Oh,
like what I'm getting out of
so
Mount
far, I
Washington.
mean, we haven't really
So
been able to
far,
pay
he
much
could be a
attention
ticking.
to him. I mean, we're seeing him in small doses. I
Yeah.
mean, his personality, however, we're not seeing just quite yet. But as I said, I mean, these other guys, and I mean, maybe we should stick with getting guys out of the MAC. That seems to be successful.
And
That
A,
works for us.
AB, Deontay Johnson, Big Ben, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Instead we're getting
Different
these
levels of
guys from
success.
Georgia and
Yeah.
Ohio State and all these other schools that are always supposed to be so great in football. The guys are nuts. They're insane.
They're insane. That's why the MAC in Penn State, baby. The MAC in Penn State. We can't get Alabama. We get their running back, and
He's doing
mm,
pretty good all the way up until
Mr.
this point in
60
his
yards.
career.
Mr. 60-yard a game. He's doing
Mr.
all right.
1,000 yards a season.
Mr.
But
60 yards. Uh,
hey,
I like Najee. I want to like him even more. That's my problem with
but think about this,
Najee.
Mike. If we get rid of Najee, there's no guarantee that we're bringing better.
Yeah, I know.
We could
Yeah.
go years without getting a running back that we're even happy with. Uh, I mean, what are we going to run?
I yeah.
Sampling? I mean,
I just want more consistency out of Najee. I think that's
I
my
mean,
biggest problem with him.
Mike, he
Just
hasn't
the
had a good
consistency.
offensive line in 3 years. So considering that, he
Mm.
does pretty well. I mean, his yards are
I,
nice for not have. I mean, we got bad our offensive line's
I,
it's been a big issue.
it has, but there's some of those runs I'm watching online that people are posting, like saying what he should do here. There's a lane. Like my Najee's biggest problem is his two of his biggest problems is vision and acceleration. And there's some holes there that he can if you'd be able to find him and hit him quicker, stuff would be there more consistently for him. But he is what he is. He is he's I don't know. I want more. If he was a second round pick, I'd be extremely happy with
Mike,
that
if
God for him.
I
But
bet
it's
you any
that first
money,
round
if we
attachment to
had a
him.
line, I think he would be giving you first round results. The
I
fact
think
of the
so
matter
too.
is, ever since he's been
Because
here, the offensive line's been
yeah.
terrible. I
Well,
mean, you could say these last 3 years, and even Ben's last year, his rookie
yeah.
season, the line wasn't great. This,
No, no.
he's really fighting an uphill battle
Yeah.
to where these other teams, where these guys, these running backs are having amazing. I mean, look at Jonathan Taylor Thomas over in Indianapolis. He has
Yeah.
that Colts line
No,
is a hell of a line.
yeah. And you see too, like Najee's production picks up at the end of the year, and what happens at the end of the year? That's when the line gels. He hasn't had a line gel from training camp on, whether it be poor performance or this year injury, forcing guys in and out the lineup. So I'm looking second half of the year for Najee's numbers to tick back up again, because by that point you think this line will have gelled
I
by that
would
point,
love
and that's what you see
I
with
would
Najee. A lot of
love
his
to
yards
see
come.
him
That's
running behind a
yeah,
good line. I would love to
yeah,
see that.
yeah. Because
I mean, we have never had the chance to see him run behind a clean, good
yeah.
line.
And we like I would say like the tail end of last year when that line started rocking and rolling, Najee was rocking and rolling, Jalen was coming in doing what he does, and you had the glimpse of what we thought we were going to see all year long, and then injury after injury after injury has derailed that line, and it's slowing down Najee. I
Um,
like Najee. I just want to
Before
like
we
him more.
start, I do want to say Monday Night Football last night, the Chiefs beat the Saints 26-13. That does wrap up the week in
Oof.
the NFL. Guys, check this out. You want to hear an interesting statistic about Sunday's football games? Sunday
Mm-hmm.
was the longest day of NFL football ever. The game started, kickoff was 9:32 Sunday morning, and the Steelers, who wrapped up the Sunday evening schedule with the Cowboys, that game ended at 12:59 a.m.
Mm.
That was the longest day ever, guys. It was 15 hours and 27 minutes of football. Um, that's awesome to me. I love it.
Me too. I
Right.
love too. I was
But
watching a little bit of every single time frame of the games too. It was beautiful.
I think what the most beautiful part was the number that Dak Prescott was able to accomplish by way of this. Now, mind you, it was the longest day of the NFL ever. It started 9:32 a.m., went 15 hours, 27 minutes, didn't finish till 12:59 a.m. that night. Check this out, guys. Dak Prescott became the first quarterback to throw an interception on 2 different days in the same game.
I
How
love that. I love that
how
history.
amazing is that? How great is it the fact that it's Dallas?
Yeah, I love it, and that feels like should be a Pittsburgh stat.
I
Like
know.
the Penguins or the Pirates and Steelers have all these weird little things that haven't happened ever. But hey, it happened because of us. I'll take it.
But one more time, just so it's fresh in your, because people are gonna want to tell their friends.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to tell you guys. But the longest day of NFL football was this past Sunday. They started 9:32 a.m. They didn't finish till 12:59 at that night. Obviously, Monday morning was 15 hours, 27 minutes. Dak Prescott, because of this, became the first quarterback to throw an interception on 2 different days in the same game.
I love it.
That's awesome. I don't know. Get back to these. Yeah,
Do we have to?
George Pickens got
Do
me
we
all.
have to?
Pickens got me.
Oh,
I don't know what to think now. I mean, all these guys are head cases, and like I said, as I'm going through this story, I'm thinking to myself, everybody from Georgia has been a pain in the ass. We've learned that Broderick Jones. I don't know what his deal is. I just don't know. Now
mm-mm.
George Pickens. I do have some talking points we're going to go over with him today, guys. One more thing I want to say before we do start. Yesterday on the comments, not the board during the show, but Mark Malone, which I love the name. I don't know
That is great.
if Mark's with us this morning on the show or not, but I do want to say Mark Malone had said that something along the lines of Mike needs to do something to reverse the curse that he put the Steelers under last week whenever he was fighting and arguing and going on about the Renegade, the song Renegade by Styx that they play up at the stadium. Since that conversation, the Steelers has not won. They have not won since Mike expressed his hatred, his brutal, ill. It was such a mean spirited. I'm just kidding. But listen, he did say that he didn't like the Renegade, the song. Ever since then, this team, Mike, they had not won. Ever since you had said that, I have a couple possible solutions for this. But what do you got to say about yourself?
I saw Snoop get amped up and hyped for it. So now I'm fully on board with "Oh Mama Come the Baby in a minute, Renegade." Yeah, I'm in
There you
for it
go.
now. I am
There
in
you
for
go.
it now. That was
Well,
not done in a
Mike,
mocking tone. That was done as my best
no,
singing
that's how you
voice.
sing. Yeah, I've heard you sing
That's how I
before.
sing. And
But Mike,
that was me
here's
fired
the
up.
solution. If they don't win this week, next week, it's going down right here on the show. We are doing a Renegade reaction video right here on the show next week. And Mike, I am going to walk you through the process of reversing this curse, Mike, next
Okay.
week. So you better hope
They win.
the Steelers go out to Las Vegas and come home with the win, because if not, it is going to be the most obnoxious, ridiculous, pain in the ass reaction video to a song ever made. I could promise you this. I could guarantee this.
I kind of want them to lose now.
And next week, right here, we will be doing the Renegade reaction video, where we'll play the video right here on the screen, and we will go through it and react to it. And I will reverse this curse. I swear to you. I won't let this continue.
You'll teach me why it's such a great hype song.
I will.
Okay. You know what? We should do it either way, win, lose, or draw.
Well, let's see. I don't want to F it up if they win. It can only happen if they lose.
Okay.
If they lose this week,
all right.
next week we will do the Renegade reaction video next week. But we have to see what happens. If they go 500, I'm going to start panicking a little bit. So that's where I'm going with this.
Me too.
But also, you're going to want to make sure that you thank Mark Malone. Again, I love the name. But he did send that on the comment board later in the day. And I thought, you know what? That's true. Well, at first I was sacrificing you on the show. I was going to sacrifice you to the football gods. But I thought, that might be a little extreme. Let's try the reaction to the Renegade video first. And if that don't work, then I'll shove an apple in your mouth and put you on a spit, and we'll go from there. But let's take steps, right?
Baby steps. I commented back saying, Mike is trying to do. I'm trying to do what I can to reverse the curse.
I seen it. I know.
I'm trying. I did make the mistake of picking.
I don't know if that's.
I made the mistake of picking us to win the game. Usually, when I pick us to lose, we win. So, my bad, y'all.
So there you have it. Do what you want with that. Possibly next week we could be doing the Renegades reaction video, where I make Mike sit down right here with me, watch the video, and we're going to watch it until you love it.
You know what? Come on, Raiders, because I want to sit down and do this. I want to subject people more to my hatred of the Renegade song.
Also, I do want to say this at the conclusion of our show. You could always go over to the Mike Tomlin show, which is on right after us. If it bleeds into, we will keep you updated on the beginning of the Mike Tomlin press conference with injuries, updates, big stories. So stay tuned right here with us for the duration. We'll certainly keep you updated as that happens. Mike, let's get into this George Pickens. One more thing I do want to say.
Yeah.
What's his name? Hooker, Malik Hooker.
Yeah.
He's out of Newcastle. He went to Ohio State. I thought it was pretty cool whenever he was doing his announcements at the beginning of the game. Of course, he plays for the Cowboys. He announced he was from Newcastle and not Ohio State. I thought that was pretty cool.
I like it.
No shot at you, Derp, or anything like that, but just
hey now.
Who chooses Newcastle over Ohio State?
Yeah, that shows you where Ohio State ranks.
Hey now.
Newcastle, Ohio State.
Right. But let's get into it, guys. We do have the George Pickens. There's a lot of things going on with this gentleman I want to talk about today. George Pickens was limited on Sunday night. You'll notice he only had 2 grabs. 2 catches. What did he have, Mike?
7 targets.
Yards.
Yeah, 2 for 26.
Van Jefferson was also had the same exact number. They mirrored one another as far as their numbers went.
Yeah.
That's right, Van Jefferson. George didn't get any touchdowns, where Muth and Connor Hayward both caught receiving touchdowns in this game. And Najee Harris out-received everybody in this game with 35 yards. Was the number 1 receiver. Mike, the explanation for why George Pickens didn't get to play confused me. and I'm sure it confused a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Snap management
Yeah.
was the key term used in this. Snap management. Mike, what does it? Please clear this up so people know what the hell what's going on with this.
Apparently, that was to keep Pickens fresh, so he'd been ready to go up play the entire game. He'd be fresh down the stretch.
And he really didn't play much, and he didn't really
No,
produce much. And I mean,
I
what?
I think that was their way of saying we don't trust him. We're going to tell him behind closed doors, and we're not going to embarrass him to the public. This is the way we're going to hold his little hand so he doesn't get the boo-boo face because we're going to publicly humiliate him and shame him. We'll do that behind closed doors. We'll come up with a bullshit answer. We'll take the crow and take the pressure off of you.
Clear it up. What? Okay.
That's how I would.
Why?
Thing
Like, why are they treating him like this? What caused this? Was there?
I think it's you go back and watch the game, man. The lack of effort that he showed throughout that entire game. The key, the key drop on the third down drive. Yeah, that ball's a little high, but it hit him right in the hands. He should have caught it. We would have been able that put us in field goal range, but we had to end up having to punt. And you watching him loaf through routes, not running hard. There's a couple occasions where he was running a crossing route where if he would have ran full speed, we would have been able to convert some third downs. His blocking, he's just walking through routes, not even trying to block people. I think they're frustrated with him. They want to shut him down, but they can't because they don't have anyone else go in there. So they're going to pull him out when they think we don't need him at this play right now. Put Scotty Miller in there. At least he'll block. We'll put Van Jefferson. At least he'll attempt to block. But we'll tell the media it's load management. But in actuality is behind closed doors, George, get your shit together or you're going to be playing less and less.
And it's not only our coaching staff that sees a lack of something out of George Pickens. Also, Dallas Jordan Lewis, who at one point near the end of the game, George Pickens grabbed him by the face mask and threw him to the ground, which I thought was just a bizarre action to begin with. If you've seen this play, if you didn't, go check it out. I recommend. The guy, what happened? The dude picked up, I forget what happened, but the guy picked up the ball and started running to celebrate. And George Pickens grabbed his face mask and kind of twisted him, and the guy fell onto the ground. Am I getting that right?
Yeah. He the game was over. He grabbed his face mask, twisted him, threw him to the ground. That's the most effort he showed all game long.
In that same guy, Jordan Lewis from Dallas, he makes the comment, Pittsburgh needs a receiver. George Pickens is weak.
Well, the results speak for themselves.
Well, I don't think he's weak. I just think that he's a nut.
Yeah. He played soft this game. He was not trying at all from the get-go. And it was frustrating to see. Like, this is a guy that wants to be the guy. He's always effing open. Well, you're not getting separation in your routes, so you're not always open. Everything that's been thrown to you this year has been a contested catch. It's frustrating to see because he can be one of the most dominant receivers in the league when he's just lackadaisical out there.
Yeah.
And we can't blame Deontay Johnson anymore. He's not there.
No desire to blame
No, not you, but like you know how it was like last year.
We all
I
forgot he was even allowed, to be honest with you.
You love Deontay.
I do want to say on the board, good morning to Brian over at One Man's Opinion. He says, so Pickens doesn't hustle every play, and he's a bad teammate, but TJ Watt does the same thing, and he's the face of the team. Well, that kind of bleeds into what I'm going to say next. So let me get there, Brian. Let me finish up with where I'm going with George, and I will happily answer that question for you. Also, I do want to say good morning to John on the board. He says, Mike, great comment about GP, the weed, and you gave me a belly laugh.
Why I'm here.
Good morning, John. Always great to see you as well, sir. So then there was this eye black. Now, when did so on this eye black, it was written open fucking always right across his eye black, open fucking always. Now, when did that get on? Did that happen during the game? Was that before the game? Was that after he was pissed off?
He wrote it on before the game.
So that was on play the
game. It was on the whole game.
Okay. because I seen that and I thought, well, I didn't notice that during the game, but of course I started asking myself, did they even close in on his face? Or I wasn't
Yeah.
sure, but he had on his eye black, I guess is what they call it, open fucking always. So I mean, yeah, the dude's got issues, and I thought once the Deontay left, it was going to be, and as you said, you can't blame Deontay.
Yeah.
When he left, I thought there was going to be, it was going to tighten up
Yeah.
as far as the
Mm-hmm.
attitudes on the
Yeah.
receiver room, which it did at first. It was, I mean, you were it was impressive to begin with at the beginning of the season, but now the team is losing. Now people's attitudes are getting shitty. Now people
Mm-hmm.
are starting to look for things to bitch about. So I mean, it doesn't surprise me
No.
because again, I mean, receivers are generally not they're generally head cases anyway. But Mike, I mean, is this an issue or is this just same old George Pickens? We get back on track. Let me ask you this: say George Pickens gets 7 catches on Sunday against the Raiders and 143 yards and a touchdown. I mean, this disappears. George Pickens,
Yeah.
his attitude
Oh, his
disappears.
attitude changes. Yeah, yeah. It's like when he's playing well, the team's playing well. He's the one of the most locked in, engaged players on the team. But the minute there's some adversity, that's when he crumbles and falls apart. Like he's mentally strong when the team's doing well and he's doing well, but when they're not, that's when he loses control and loses focus.
Yeah.
It's it's frustrating to see because you can see he has all the talent in the world.
Like you
He's
said,
and like he's
throw
just
a
a weird
contested catch
guy
up.
to begin with.
Right. I mean, throw something up over there. He can have somebody right in his grill, and he's going to catch the ball 9 times out of 10. He's an amazing
Yeah, oh,
talent.
yeah.
You have to find a way to get in these guys' heads, and it's not easy either.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I work with people. I'm around people. I get that that's not an easy
Yeah.
thing to do, and you're going to want to trade. And that's what the deal is. You get a really good receiver, a really good athlete, but the guy might be a little bit nuts, and you have to find a way to handle
Yeah.
that. Um,
You would think after last year when he was fined what over $100,000 by the team that he would learn how to act professional. You know,
yeah.
they're taking money out of your pocketbook. I'm gonna like tighten up.
A lot of times I just say to myself, you know what? Excuse me. He's a young guy. And people could say, well, you know what? There's other young people who aren't that don't act like this, and there's other,
Everyone
and you can't,
matures at a different time.
and you can't, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, a lot of guys that I
Mm-hmm.
hated NFL players as a younger person in the '90s because of the attitudes and the mouth. They ended up being really cool people, and I admire them
Yeah.
as retired football players now, and they're some of my favorite guys. So I try to say that to myself, and I say, you know what, that maybe that's probably what it is. He's a young
Mm-hmm.
guy, and once life
Yeah.
kicks your ass enough, you
Yeah.
humble up, and he's just not there yet. But if it's going to hurt the team, I mean, that's what it ultimately comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
That's where where I'm
Yeah.
concerned. His personal growth means absolutely nothing to me, but when he steps on the football field to play for our team, that does it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
we are invested in this, and
Like you can't like even if he's having like outside of work issues, you can't bring it to work. You can't bring it to the game day. And that's your job. You got to keep it's hard, it's tough. Trust me, I know it too. Like not wanting to bring personal matters into work and let it affect your performance. But you got to grow up and leave that stuff at home. And I think it is too. I think he just needs to mature more. And he's like you said, he's what 22, 23. Think back to yourself at that age. Were
yeah,
a lot of people
I'm
that
a
much,
total asshole.
like if I was given that much money, what he's getting the opportunity, I probably wouldn't handle it
I'd probably
half
be
as well
dead.
as like he is. Like I would be flipping out on the sidelines too if I wasn't doing well, the team wasn't doing well. And so hopefully he can figure it out because the team needs them and the team needs him and he can be that guy. He can be a top 5 receiver in the league. Just get your head right, man.
Well, we are 1 week closer to the trade deadline, Mike. Of course, I think right around week 9, week 10.
Yeah.
Here we are. We get Cam Sutton back after week 8.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think after 5 weeks of football, we're sitting at 3-2? Do we make a move here at some point for a wide receiver? I know the big talk right now is, of course,
Yeah.
Devontae Adams out in Vegas. I mean, I'm saying we go out there, just bring them back home with us on the airplane at the end of the weekend here. But do you think that do we make the move, Mike, or do we try to ride it out with what we have because that's generally a typical Steeler result? We're going to handle it
Yeah.
within, and we believe in our team, which obviously doesn't work. I mean, you need players. Do they make a move, Mike, or are we? What do you think?
I think if they can't get Devontae Adams, they're gonna ride with what they have.
Yeah.
They're not gonna, or maybe DeAndre Hopkins. If they can't get one of those two guys, I see them riding with what they have. We're 5 weeks in where we are what we are. It's about like every other team in the NFL right now. They know what kind of team they have. Steelers know what kind of team they have. So if they're smart and you let Omar Khan be aggressive, forget about the draft picks. You go out and get Devontae Adams.
I would
Yeah, his
sure love to get
contract's
a
kind
look.
of bloated for
I
this
would
year and next year.
sure love to get a look at Roman Wilson.
Me too. Me
How
too.
long is this going to be, Mike?
I don't. That's what sucks with these high ankle sprains. You
I've
don't
seen
know.
I've
You
seen
don't
people
know.
get I've seen people get back after having a cardiac arrest faster than this guy's getting back after
The
a
high ankle sprains, dude. They're some of the
Mike.
worst.
Remember
It's
in
like
the
a turf
NHL,
toe.
the dude died on the ice and he
Yeah.
came back in and played that game. I don't want to
Uh,
hear about an
Hockey
ankle
players are
sprain.
different.
You
Hockey
know,
players are different.
the
They're
dude
nuts.
he literally died on ice. He flatlined, came back to life,
Yeah,
and said,
and if
"You
you
know what?
don't
I'm
come
going
back,
in.
you're
I'm going back
yeah,
in."
yeah. They're gonna call you a pussy if you don't in hockey. Okay, but
I don't want to hear about
I
an
want to
ankle
see what he can
sprain.
do. I'm at the point now. If we want to get a Devonte Adams, if we have to trade George Pickens, so be it.
I like. I mean, I don't want to trade Jordan Pickens. Of course, I just want him to stop acting this way because it's going to hurt the team. And obviously, we
Yeah.
went through this before with him, and we thought that it was going to be related to Deontay Johnson, kind of giving him
Mhm.
the attitude from the older guy. I mean,
Yeah.
you've been in the workplace, you get there, somebody already starts bad mouthing the business, and then now you start disliking the place, and so I understand that, and I thought, well, maybe it's definitely going to be a good thing to have George Pickens. Let's have him be the
Yeah.
guy. He's the guy. He can lead all the
Yep.
other guys, but he's not doing that very well. He's
Mm-mm.
still, coming with
Yeah.
an immature mindset instead of taking your Scotty Millers and your Roman Wilsons and your Calvin Austins and all these guys and pulling them in and saying, this is our core. I'm the leader, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see from this guy. I don't want to see him grabbing a dude's face mask and twisting him to the ground at the end of the game after we lose. I don't want to see him with I'm fucking open all the time, whatever it was
Yeah.
across his. I mean, those are the things that, again,
Yeah.
how long is this dude going to last if this is the way he continues?
Yeah.
If he even wants to continue in the NFL, he does. He needs to tighten up the ship.
Yeah. He does. He needs, if he was putting up AB numbers, I'm willing to deal with these antics, knowing I'm getting 8, 9 catches a game, 120 yards, touchdown a game breaking plays. I'm okay with it. But what he's doing, lazy routes, drops, it's not okay. Well, what's coming from him? Like Frybush alluded to, he didn't say George Pickens' name, but he said there's some guys on this team that care more about stats than going out there and doing whatever it takes to win the game.
Muth said that.
Muse said that, yeah. Paraphrasing Muse, the guys are worrying about stats, not worrying about what we have to do to get the team to win. Because I'm out there, busting my butt trying to block, and other guys are worried about stats. And that's you can't have you can't have a friction like that in this locker room, especially amongst skill players. They all need to be on the same page. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Derpy, what do you think? The crazy thing about it, I can see his eyes move because his panda eyes move. Derpy,
Yeah.
there they go. Derpy, what do you think about this George Pickens situation, man?
I think he needs to grow up.
Yeah, definitely.
Huge, big time.
Again, snap management was the reason he got pulled from the game on the sideline. Snap management was the term that they used. However, a lot of things led up to that to that point. Let's catch up to some comments on the board, Mike. I'm going to go back to John, where John said there was another power keg in the locker room. They only fired Canada because it was out of control last year. They are back in the same spot again. I'm waiting for them. It is the same exact spot, guys. We are back to the same exact spot, and that's what scares me. But you know what, though? We talked about it yesterday. They do kind of have to tear down and build back up. There's certain things that it's just not going to work anymore. We have to tear down, build back up, because it's gotten very stale, very stale. We haven't won a playoff game in 8 years. The team looks exactly like it did in the last 2-3 seasons. We made millions of changes.
Mhm.
Feel the steel, or Phil the Steel. Good morning to you, sir. Always great to see you as well. He says, we're in the bad times. Sadly, the blue collar moral attitude is gone. Seems like the Roonies are allowing too much in the locker room that made football brawlers, not drama queens. I agree with that too. I mean, Mike, I think sometimes when we argue or debate this, you go back to that as well. Sometimes you just don't know if the owners are going to be,
Yeah.
you know, they have to sign off on everything when it comes
Mhm.
down to it. And if they're going to run this old style that isn't working anymore or has become stale in the league, that's what it's going to be until somebody gets in there and persuades them. And I just, and if that's the problem, how long is this going to take to fix, Mike?
Yeah, it's going to take a while. You have to, if this is the kind of team Rooney wants, it's the kind of team they're going to build and put together. It's not just on the coach, not just on the GM, like you said. The owner lays out the blueprint, and then the coach and GM go out and execute. Like, no one's hands are clean in any of this. Tomlin, Omar, Rooney, they're all to share part of the blame.
Jonas, it says the Steelers do it to themselves. The word was out. The GP was full of attitude, yet they think the black and gold can fix attitudes. Other teams cast offs leprosy and cancer. I agree.
Yeah, but they tend to have a track record of keeping guys okay for a decent amount of time.
They did it with Antonio Brown, and I think if anybody could do that with Antonio Brown, you have something going for you.
Yeah, you think you keep that guy sane for 7-8 years. You think we can handle George
We didn't know
Pickens.
He was nuts for half a decade. So I mean,
they kept that shit under.
But
wraps.
I don't disagree with you, John. I definitely understand and agree.
It's like a hubris thing. We've done it before. We can do it again.
Let's see. Brian says, what guys always talks about people playing for stats. There's way too much of it in sports. It all starts with them being pampered since day one. Let me bleed into my TJ Watt information because I do want to answer Brian to something that he asked earlier. Maybe if I can't even pull it up here. Brian says, okay, early on in the show, he says, so Pickens doesn't hustle every play, and he's a bad teammate, but TJ Watt does the same thing, and he's the face of the team. This is my argument with that, Brian. And again, I don't totally disagree with you, but TJ Watt reached 100 sacks in the second fewest games ever, only behind Reggie White, who done it in 96 games. TJ Watt did it in 109. That's kind of a thing. You know what I mean? We could all argue that his run defense has certainly declined over the years. And maybe we get upset because we see him on the sideline in a particular part of the game where we feel that he should be in. But at the end of the day, he's accomplished something that one other guy in the history of the NFL has ever done. Again, that's got to be worth something, right? If George Pickens was putting up any kind of numbers that would say that only one person ever in the history of football was better than him, then we could, then that could be an argument. But I like I said, TJ Watt, I don't think anybody has a problem with him being face of the team.
And he makes game winning plays.
TJ
Watt has won more games than.
I mean, what happened last game where him and Herbig, I'm sorry. They sacked the quarterback and he fumbled. I mean, how many times does this dude come in, make a sack and the ball pops out, or you know what I mean? He literally does it from week to week. And again, I understand your argument. I really do. He's not God. He's not perfect. I get that. But who is? And again, he is, with the exception of the greatest sacker of all time, Reggie White, he is a close second best. So again, I think that's the difference, the accomplishments, and that's why you become the face of an organization.
And he was a defensive player of the year award winner. He was the best of the best of the league. So he tends to get some leeway.
Absolutely. And just because I think he should be in a particular play, again, that's why I'm here, and they're there, and they get a lot of money to make them calls, and I think that I'm right. Don't get me wrong. And I'm thinking, okay, this dude, he gets paid this much money. He should be in this particular part of the game. But again, I'm not in that position to make the call. And There's a reason these guys make a lot of money. So, but guys, George Pickens, I'm again, if we're winning, I'm not concerned.
And TJ Watt plays 92.1% of the snaps.
What's Pickens play?
Um, Pickens plays 73% of the offensive snaps.
Let's see. Also, John says Pickens is bucking for a trade by acting like a tard. TJ hasn't thus far. I, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think Brian sees the difference. I think Brian likes to be difficult.
Oh, and then like we want to talk about, guys chasing stats. Well, when it comes time to legacy talk and players want to care about their legacy like fans do, people go, well, what about the stats? So it's a
Yeah.
double-edged sword from us, the media, and the fans. Oh, we want you to sacrifice. But when it comes time to talk about your legacy, where you rank in the game, you don't have the stats. But I sacrifice for the team. Yeah, but you don't have the stats. So we're talking out of both sides of our mouth here. I want the guys to have production, but I want them to also sacrifice for the team. They sacrifice for the team. I'm going to shit on them because they don't have the production. Or if they have the production, I'm going to shit on them because they're really not sacrificing for the team. We can't have both.
Phyllis Steele says that's what I've seen is 90 does the offense, finishes 90 has won games, 90 shows up. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you only got to be great X amount of period of time. I mean, everybody can't be. It's impossible to be great all the time.
You can't play every single
I'm just trying to think. I
snap
mean,
as an
think of
edge
the
rusher.
greatest player. Tom Brady threw interceptions. Tom Brady fumbled the ball. Tom Brady got sacked, and Tom Brady lost football games. Not a lot, albeit he did. Those things had happened. So, I mean, can we say that he's not the greatest ever because those things happened to him?
Yeah.
Um,
And
but
like
again, don't
Miles,
get me wrong, Brian. I don't 100% disagree with you, but I think that this is the difference. I think.
yeah. Miles Garrett plays. People want to compare TJ Watt to Miles Garrett. Miles Garrett only plays about 70% of the snaps in Cleveland.
But
TJ Watt's playing 91. Miles Garrett's playing 70%. So, you
um, so that's that.
he's out there. It does feel like he's out, sitting on the sidelines more than what he actually is because the rest of that defense, because the defense can't get off the field early in games. So he's on the sideline sucking air.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem. And the offense, short 3 and outs, you're not giving the defense rest. And these guys got to take some rest so they can produce.
The other story, guys, of course, George Pickens, TJ Watt. The other story is Mike Derpy, guys on the board, everybody home. Who, and for how long gets the start under center this week? The broadcasters sure made it sound like the Steelers are going to be throwing Russell Wilson back in there as soon as he's ready. They went on and said, you know what? He's ready. The Steelers believe that he's going to be coming back to play. How realistic and how soon is it that Russell Wilson could see action time? Like I wouldn't think that Justin Fields lost a position yet. I think he did more so far to earn the position. And I'll be again, it's not great results. It's a lot of the same. But how much is Russell Wilson at his age is he gonna come in and improve things? I seen him play last year. I wasn't impressed when he was in Denver. I like him because he's a veteran. I like him because he's won a Super Bowl. But does that mean anything out on the field if he comes out this Sunday and plays? No, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, like if we can get like the production numbers that Russ had last year on this team, I think we would be sitting at 4-1, maybe 5-0, but we don't know. It's
That's
a
not the
different
guy
year.
I seen though, guys.
Yeah,
He had nice numbers, but he didn't look sharp out there.
You watch the film, the numbers don't. The numbers look good. You watch the film, it's not that impressive.
It's not doesn't really match up. I seen a lot of these what they're doing nowadays with the out of the backfield of these short check downs. When I seen him play last year, that's what it was. It was very similar to what we were doing here with Kenny. And I thought to myself, what has happened to Russell Wilson? This guy was, the face of Seattle's team up there for a long time. He's won Super Bowls. He went to other Super Bowls. And I thought to myself, why is he doing this check down thing all the time like we do?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm sold, guys. Again, there's about 5 of these guys on the planet. We don't have one. I'm talking about starting quarterbacks, successful quarterbacks in the NFL. That guy we refer to him here on this show. We just don't have him, Mike.
No.
I think we just have to continue to try to search for him. And in the meantime, this is what we have.
Go ahead, Derpy.
I'm willing to take a look at Russ, but I think Justin moves the ball better than Russ at the moment.
But Justin also puts the ball on the ground a lot too. This is a problem.
That's
5 games, five
yeah,
fumbles. There's a lot that goes into this, guys. It's not an easy answer. If it was an easy answer, we wouldn't be talking about it. They wouldn't be talking about it on TV. It's not an easy
yeah.
answer. We
It's
just have to
not, no.
figure out a way to try to stay competitive until we could get that guy, and
Yeah.
we don't have him.
I'm okay with riding Fields out all season long just to see what he has. If we end up having a losing season, so be it. We get a better draft pick and we can move on from both these quarterbacks and start anew. That's
I would
probably
agree.
that's probably what needs to happen. And like with Fields, though, too, it's what's the film? I hate sounding like that guy, but what's the film? These receivers don't get a lot of separation. These guys cannot beat man coverage. Uh, so if you line up a man on these guys and that line doesn't block that well right now, your quarterback has to be extremely accurate and lucky. And right now, we're getting lucky. Fields is being more accurate than he has been in his career because he's making the smart throw. But we need guys that can beat man coverage. These guys are not that good beating man coverage. Teams aren't going to play zone against us. I just run man all day long.
We're very easy
You
to
can't get
prepare for right
separation.
now. We're a
Yeah.
very easy team to prepare for right now, and I don't like that.
Yeah. And it's not because of route designs and route concepts. It's because the receivers we have can't beat man coverage. This is why I'd like to get Roman Wilson back. He's a pretty good route runner. I'd like to get someone like, Devontae Adams. He's a good route runner. He can beat man coverage. We would see the passing game open up, but we just don't have the skill and talent there. But like we said yesterday, that's what happens when you spend all your money on defense and you're putting an offense together on a shoestring budget. You gotta cut corners somewhere, and it's going to be on the offense.
All right, so John says, Bank, most of these dudes will never hold a real job after the NFL. They are slow, but are now educated on what happens when the NFL and fans are done with them. Also, he says, I understand a little diva behavior to get paid, but not one flew over the cuckoo's nest with Pickens. Yeah, no, I agree. Also, let me take a quick time out here. I want to say, guys, did anybody see all the star power up at the stadium the other day? There was Snoop Doggy Dogg, of course, a big Steeler fan. Elon Musk was down there. I feel it was like about 5 different people.
Mark Cuban was there as well.
Mark Cuban was there. And I said last night, or I'm sorry, yesterday on the show, that was the 5th largest crowd ever in franchise history for a Steeler game. So that if you were up there seeing that Cowboys Steeler game, man, there was a lot going on.
There about the crowd, I'm a bit disappointed. There were a lot of cheers when the Cowboys were doing well. They were Yinzer Nation. I was very disappointed in our showing.
See, I wasn't. I thought we did good. And the thing is about Dallas fans, they travel like us, and there's a lot of Dallas fans outside of Dallas. And I wasn't surprised to see a lot, as you do when the Mets come to town. Teams like this in baseball, they usually fill our stadiums as well. I just thought, how cool! If it wasn't for the delay, how many cool people were up there. I'm sure that Sierra was there. I'm sure that
Glorilla was there. Whoever she is.
So I mean, it's just it's these things in LA are normal, but here in Pittsburgh, it was kind of a big thing. And Musk was waving his towel. So good times were had by all. Field of the Steel says Fields, Wilson, even Allen, who I thought I'll go on about Allen later. I liked him. I liked him since preseason. Is he a starter? No, but I feel comfortable with him back here. Anyway, Arthur Smith stinks. And what about the great Steeler offensive line? And yes, the receivers, great point. That's Field of Steel. And then John also says keep Fields as the backup. Shit can Wilson. Oh, shit can Wilson. And sending gifts to the Manning household weekly. You know what? The quarterbacks, Mike.
Do we really want Arch Manning?
I don't know if he's going to win football games. I mean,
I don't know.
There's never been anything that says that the Mannings stink at playing quarterback.
Yeah,
they're all pretty great.
Is he going to be more Eli? Is he going to be more Peyton? Give me more Peyton. He'd fit into the team.
I'll take 2 Super Bowls no matter which one.
I know, right?
Right? But I see what you're saying now, John.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, no disrespect to Eli.
So where I was going with the celebrity thing, who else was disgusted by Celine Dion at the very beginning? Now I know listen. I'm not making fun of her. She has some kind of health issue, but I was eating taco dip watching the game, and I couldn't eat my food. Like, she's truly disgusting. And Celine Dion, she used to be a good looking woman, right? I mean, she wasn't always ugly. All right, maybe I'll just stop. But I just thought to myself, man, she's
You're
hideous.
attacking the poor woman who has like a skeletal degenerative issue or
Is that what
something.
her problem is? I don't know.
There's something
Well,
weird.
I
What's one
couldn't
of
eat
those?
my food. I just thought to myself, this is
Yeah,
not, come on, you
yeah.
can't put somebody. The other dude, the other team gets Taylor Swift. We get this thing.
Jesus Christ. Poor Celine Dion over here catching strays.
Hmm. I couldn't. Come on, I couldn't eat my food.
Poor woman's probably in an
That's
immense
something.
amount of pain, and here you are.
Oh, can you imagine the money that Dallas fans were paying for them tickets?
Oh,
Especially
buku
if
money.
people are buying them and then they turn around and sell them on these other sites. They probably paid thousands of dollars
Oh
for those
yeah.
seats. Guys, let's go over real quick. I do have a winner for the picks on the week. There's a clear cut winner actually.
We need a drum roll.
Oh,
Drum
fuck
roll,
off.
drum.
Fuck off.
Durfee,
Fuck you.
do the drum. Take your fingers like you used to do in school on the desk. Do a little drum roll, and I'll reveal the winner. That's
That
what
was
you
the
did in school.
lamest drum roll I've ever heard in my life.
All right, so we're gonna start at the top. This is gonna be quick, guys. We have things we still have to get to. The games this weekend, Mike Durpee. This is for Permani Brothers Food at the end of the season. Durpee's up 3-1, 3-1. This is the 5th week of the season. Let's see if Mike can get back in it or Durpee can extend his lead over Mike. Guys, the first game of the week was the Falcons over the Buccaneers. The Falcons win that game. That game went to Durpee. Mike picked the Buccaneers. Durpee picked the Falcons. Durpee, you're up 1-0. Game number 2, the Vikings over the Jets. Durpee and Mike, you both picked the Vikings. Game number 3, Carolina and the Bears. You guys both picked Chicago. Cleveland at Washington. Durpee, you took Cleveland. Mike, you took Washington. Mike, you win that game. The Dolphins at New England. Dolphins at New England. Mike, you took New England. Durpee, you took the Dolphins. Durpee, you won that game. The Bills and Texans. Mike took the Texans. Durpee took the Bills. Mike wins that game. The Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals. Both you guys took the Ravens. The Broncos and Raiders. Mike, for some reason, you took the Broncos and they won this game. San Francisco and the Cardinals. 49ers and Cardinals. Durpee, you picked the Cardinals. You won. Nobody won the Seattle. You both picked Seattle. The Giants won. Nobody picked Green Bay. The Rams won. Nobody picked Kansas City last night. You both picked the Saints. I'm sorry, Green Bay won. You guys both picked the Rams. Giants won. You both picked Seattle. And then the game last night, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs won. New England lost. Neither one of you picked the Chiefs. You both picked again, for some reason, the Saints. Durpee, you picked the Cowboys. Mike, you picked the Steelers. Durpee, you did win once again. 8-5 was your results. You win. You were up 4-1, Mike. 4-1. You have some coming back to do. But you know what? You're streaky. When you do these picks, there's a lot of times where you hit all-time lows, but you come back and are very competitive throughout the year. Remember that one time you lost to an inanimate object?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Did I win? Did I win this week?
No, you lost.
So
okay.
I'm sorry. I zoned out. I was on Twitter for a second.
On Thursday, we will be doing the new picks for next week. Durpee, you are up 4-1. 4-1, Mike. Keep that in your mind. Look over these. Look over the games. Durpee, likewise, be prepared because this is big, Mike. He goes up 5-1. I mean, that's a big jump. But
I'm like the Bengals, man. I'm the best.
I've literally never heard anybody say that in my life.
I am the best
with a smile,
1-4 team.
Yeah.
I'm the best 1-4 team in the league. Me and Joe Burr, baby.
John also says that Jason's wife looks better than the Barbie Swift to me.
Yeah, but Taylor got billions with the B.
I'm going Durpee isn't allowed human food.
No, he's not. Yeah, so that gift card automatically comes to me.
All right.
So
that was for the pick of the week. The picks of the week, Durpee, you lead, but there's still, as you know, a lot of football season left. I'm talking a lot of football season left, guys. Mike, let's go to college football briefly. there is a few things I want to talk about here as we're running short, close on time. Uh, Eli Holstein, he wins ACC Rookie of the Week for the fifth time
Again?
in 5 weeks.
Wow.
Time in 5 weeks, he threw 381 yards this past week. He rushed for 76, had 4 total touchdowns altogether. The ACC,
Heisman question mark?
he's on the list. I'm getting to that one sec. Also, Des Reed, the running back, he won ACC Receiver of the Week. The running back, let me say that one more time, it won ACC Receiver of the Week by catching 155 yards on 11 catches, 1 touchdown. And also, don't forget the defensive side of the ball. Kyle Lewis is a beast. He won ACC Linebacker of the Week with 9 tackles, 2.5 tackles for losses, and 1 sack. Guys, Eli Holstein falls anywhere. He sits anywhere between, depending on the list you're looking at, anywhere between 4 and 8 on the Heisman watch list, just depending on the list. So keep your eye on Eli. Again, freshman, there's probably a good chance somebody else is going to win. But if he's 19 years old and already making these kind of, making this kind of way, keep your eye on this guy moving forward. I like him. I like him a lot. Also, let's see. Eli. Okay, Mike. Remember yesterday I mentioned the teams that are that are undefeated. The teams that are left. These are
Yeah.
the teams that were undefeated starting last weekend, and they fell off the undefeated chart. That would be Alabama taking the loss to
Ooh.
Vanderbilt, Duke, Missouri, Rutgers, Tennessee, UNLV, and James Madison. They all fall off the undefeated list as of last weekend. Mike, Derpy, myself, our team still move on as undefeated teams in the NCAA college football. And this is what their weekends look like this week. Penn State Nittany Lions, they're coming as a number 4 team in the country.
Yeah.
They travel out to Los Angeles to play the USC Trojans. That game is 3:30 on Saturday. Penn State at USC. This game here is going to be huge, guys. Number 2 Ohio State versus number 3 Oregon. I go on and on about the lack of competition in the games thus far for the Buckeyes, but you know what? This one is not easy by any
Oh,
means.
yeah.
They're going out to the West Coast. They're going to be playing number 3 Oregon. That game is one that I will certainly be. I'll be excited to watch that as well.
That's gonna be a good one.
West Virginia, they're involved in a tough game as well. They host number 11 Iowa State. So number 11 Iowa State, West Virginia. That game is at 8:00 p.m. on Saturday. A lot of good college football, and of course the Pitt Panthers. They play Cal on Saturday at I believe noon at 3:30. It's a 3:30 game. Sorry about that. But guys, a lot of good college football coming up. So much football. I can't even describe how great things are in life
Yeah.
right now.
I love it.
Football. So
I
much
think
football.
so much football. I think my Nittany lines are way too high. We start off so slow. If we start off slow against USC, I think it's going to be a rout.
Real quick on the board. Oh, I like this. I like this a lot. DJ Sir Derp a lot. Is with forepaw. Brian says, is the Pittsburgh offensive coordinator? Is it the offensive coordinator or the quarterback? It's a little bit of everything. Until you have that guy, it's going to be the quarterback, your guy. And again, I mean, look around at everything on the offense. Not much. It seems like it's changed.
Is it a lack of skill players outside of Pickens and Najee?
Or is it the guy that's the umbrella over top of everything? Who knows? There's a lot that goes into this. I don't think it's an easy question or an
No,
easy answer.
like I said, everyone's to blame.
Yeah. And I agree. I feel this still. I love the fact that Alabama lost to Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt, baby.
And also Tennessee, they took an L as well. So it was fun weekend. Mike, I'm going to jump over to you briefly. I was going to take a little bit more time with this, but give me some scoop, because tomorrow night the Pittsburgh Penguins open up their regular season at home against the New York Rangers. Just give us a outline on how you think the season's going to go, Mike. They fell just short the past couple years.
Yeah.
People want to know if it's going to be an improvement this year. A lot of the same players still here. What's going to go on, Mike? Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow, Rangers. What do you think?
I think this roster they have constructed right now can compete, can make it to the playoffs. Are they going to win the conference? No. Are they going to win their division? No. Can they win a round in the playoffs? I think they can. They bottom 6 is vastly improved. They actually have guys on here who can actually score goals. We have scoring production on all four lines. And the bottom six can also play defense as well. It's a much better team. Goaltending is still going to be the issue. You know, Jari, you never know with him who you're going to get night to night. Number one, backups hurt, but we brought up Joel Blomqvist. He's a good young up and coming goalie, so might be in a better goalie situation than we were last year with Bloomquist here. I think he's the guy for the future. I think this team got a little bit younger in some areas. It's all going to come down to what are you going to get out of Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and Carlson. As you know, those four guys go, that's how the team's going to go. And Crosby right now is going for what year 19, 20 years of point a game average to break Wayne Gretzky's record. That's going to happen. Crosby's going to have another magnificent year. Penguins are going to make the playoffs. Penguins will make it out of the first round. It'll be a good year.
All right. Thank you on that, Mike. Always great to hear your input. And I see Brian had asked about asked about the quarterback or the offensive coordinator. I think it's a little bit of both, Brian, to be honest with you. Cade McBell, he came in. He made a big difference in this offense with his game planning. You can see everything from the pass he did. It's a very what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very aggressive offensive game plan. He came here, and I think that this kid, I mean, he's yet to do anything wrong. He's made all the right moves. So I do believe it's the both of them. The one guy certainly has the skills. The other one certainly has the strategic ability to put it all together. So we'll wait till they lose, and then we'll find out who we should blame it all on when that happens. But guys, let's jump over to. I see the word fleas. I have to read what is said. Derpy's first album title is "You Got." You can look, but you can't touch my bone. I love it. I love it. This needs to come to fruition. All right, guys. Question of the day. This is Raiders questions. Raiders questions, as you know, on the show. Whoever the Steelers are playing that week, that is who the trivia question for the week is going to be about. This, guys, is a Raider question. Mike, Derpy, put on your thinking caps, guys, on the board. People at home, here we go. Question of the day. Here we go. Everybody knows John Madden from the football game, the video games. I want to know, because he was a coach for the Raiders, how many Super Bowls did he win, guys? How many Super Bowls did John Madden win as the Raider head coach? That is the question of the day. Take a minute to think it over, guys. How many Super Bowls did John Madden win as the Raiders head coach? Everybody knows John Madden. Take a minute to think it over. We are live. We're live 5 days a week right here, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube. Yes, Phil the Steel. If anything pops up that is big news, certainly don't hesitate to let us know. We are going to be wrapping up here within a minute or two. But guys, you as well.
I do have some news.
Yeah, what's up?
Leal out, Herbig out, Peterson and Highsmith out, Pruitt doubtful, Warren doubtful. That's Tomlin said it will be a big week for the practice squad guys at edge rush position, because they're gonna one or both are gonna get elevated to game time play, and Russell Wilson's gonna be a full participant in practice, and they're gonna monitor everyone's performance in practice.
Oh, they don't do that anyway?
Well, he's going to be more involved in practice than
they have to tell you that they're going to do it.
So he's going to be in full. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to be transparent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Big news. There you go. Nobody's playing. The thing that scares me about this is the Raiders beat the Ravens.
Yeah. So if we beat them by transferred property, we will beat the Ravens.
All right. Let's get back to it, guys. How many Super Bowls did John Madden win as the Raiders head coach? Did he win 100? Did he not win any at all? I don't know. Mike, let's go to you first. How many Super Bowls did John Madden win as the Raiders head coach?
One. Who did they beat?
Hell if I know. Well, that's not important. That's not part of the question.
Yeah.
Derpy, I'm going to lock you in on one, you said, Mike?
One.
Locking you in. All right, Derpy, over to you. How many Super Bowls did John Madden win as the Raiders head coach? He, of course, was the coach when the Immaculate Reception happened. I want to know how many Super Bowls he's won. is the
I'm
Raiders.
gonna have to agree with Mike. One.
One as well. Any idea who he beat? Anybody?
Celine Dion would know.
Also on the board, Phil Steele says one. Uh, Brian over at One Man Opinion on Sports is one. All right, guys. Question of the day: how many Super Bowls did John Madden win as the Raiders head coach? He beat the Vikings in 1976, 32-14. You guys are all correct. Minnesota, they went 0-4 in Super Bowls, and that is who John Madden's Raiders did beat in 1976. 20 minutes or 20 years before you were born, Derpy. He beat the Purple People Eaters. Guys, starting to wrap things up. Yes, John, that is correct, 100%. Anything before we start getting ready to wrap things up, Mike?
Yeah. Be sure to check out the website at the2dumbyensers.com. Head on over there, everyone. Remember, we got the merch store there. We got the blog there. Got all of our social media links over there if you don't have them already. So head on over to the2dumbyensers.com. Over to you, Derpy.
If you're new to the Two Dumb Yinzers show, be sure to subscribe below and pound that like button.
So seamless. It was like watching art being made.
All you have to do is give me a little bit of whiskey before the show, and I'm good to go.
Look at you.
That's the new shirt right there.
A little
It
bit of
feels
whiskey,
like-
and I'm good to go.
It feels like the work that we've done has not gone in vain. Turpy, real quick, what's going on in the Cleveland Guardians series? I know that you're following this heavily. You are a Guardians fan. What's going on in that series? They're playing who they playing?
The Tigers.
Tigers. What's going on?
Game 1, they won. Game 2, they blew it as usual.
When do they play next?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. All right. So there you go, guys. Cleveland, the Guardians, and the Detroit Tigers are tied up 1 game apiece. Game tomorrow is game 3. You got faith in this team, Derpy? I mean, they're pretty good. They had the best record in the league, I think, didn't they? Or close to it.
Yeah. I don't
So,
know now because their closer blew the game last night.
maybe that's all the more incentive for that not to happen anymore, you know? Maybe he'll
Right. They were due for a stinker.
All right. We'll keep paying attention. Brian or Phil Steele says Derpy quit picking versus our Steelers. You know what? Derpy actually did. Oh, yeah, you did pick the Cowboys, didn't you?
I did pick the
Interesting.
Cowboys.
Interesting.
I'm the one who usually picks against
I
the
know.
Steelers. Because I like to set myself up to be happy and surprised. So when they win, I'm happy and I'm surprised. When they lose,
I know you're never happy. But anyway, I do want to say, everybody, we do appreciate. We thank everybody for coming and hanging out with us this morning and checking us out. We appreciate each and every one of you. We certainly couldn't do it without you. I want to thank everybody on the board. You guys are awesome and always keep the show interesting. Thank you so much, everybody at home. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time. As I said, if the Pittsburgh Steelers do not improve, me and Mike and Derpy will be doing a Renegade reaction video next week right here on the show. I think that could be a blast. So it all comes down to what the injury riddled Pittsburgh Steelers can do against a Ravens team that beat everybody in our division so far that they played. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Of course, John, thank you as always, my friend. Anything else, guys? Anything I'm forgetting? Speaking out, ever hold your peace.
We got it all. So remember, let's go Raiders so we can have the reaction video.
These guys are gonna hang you. They're gonna burn you at the stake.
Whatever helps us get a victory, I'm willing to do.
Also, guys, go check out the Mike Tomlin press conference, as it was mentioned earlier on the show. Somebody had said, go check it out. It is on still. That's where I'm going to go right now, see what he has to say. But other than that, fellas, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, to do it all over again. Derpy, Mike from the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, the Two Dumb Yinzers. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.